time now for Perspective. And today's guests are David-Jean and Philippe Thareaut-Vigny. Thank you very much for coming in and speaking to us. Today's topic, a very sensitive one worldwide, surrogacy, when a woman agrees to become pregnant and give birth to a child or children who will then be cared for by someone else. The practice raises difficult social, legal, and moral questions. Some countries ban it outright, others partially, some not at all. David-Jean will be sitting in today, as I'll be speaking to Philippe, his partner, who's more comfortable in English. The two of you got married in 2013. Last year, you became fathers. Congratulations of Louise and Jane. I was wondering if you could begin by telling us about how this journey began. You're French, but you went to the U.S. Why did you make that decision?
Well, we wanted kids, and adoption in France is not easy. It's already not easy for heterosexual, for gay couples even harder. So it was a very long journey. It took us about more than 5 years from the beginning of the decision and meeting all the agencies and finally having Jane and Louise. When you start a journey like that, you shouldn't be afraid of all the papers you have to sign, all the people you have to talk to, all the problems you will have. Our journey was not easy. We had to change surrogate. One thing we have to tell is actually surrogacy is not only about a woman, it's about two women. There's one who's giving eggs and another one who's caring for the children, surrogate. And so it's difficult, but we made it.
How did you choose the women involved in this process?
Well, for the surrogate, it's a little bit different because it's a mutual choice. So, it's a short interview, phone or Skype. And then we just, we have first the agency show us, candidates, and then we see which one we want to interview. And for the donor, it's a little bit different. You just look to a list and then you decide which one, with a picture. We decided for us that we wanted for Jane and Louise that they know where they come from, where were their origins. So we decided to choose a known donor. We know her, we talked to her. And we want Lisa and Stacy, the donor.
There we see them there.
Yeah, here they are. That's Lisa, the surrogate. We want them to, share with Jane and Louise, when they'll be older. And we're going to go back to the U.S. next year.
So you're keen on keeping contact with them?
That's what we wanted. It's not a choice of all the couples, but that's the choice we made. It's important.
And real quickly, you were talking about this process being 5 years in the making, not just hassle with the paperwork or all the other issues surrounding it, but it's also a very costly one, too.
Yeah, it's quite expensive. We started with a budget of approximately $87, finishing about $130, $150, we're not sure, stop counting. The thing about surrogacy, it's very expensive, and that's the problem, is some couples don't have the money to go to the US, and that's why, we, with some of associations, gay parenting associations we have in France, we're fighting for having one-day surrogacy in France. It won't come easily and fast, but it's for us very important, and we want to explain to our daughters how things are changing now. And it was difficult when we were back in France, and not only with the administration in general, people in the U.S. everything was keen with us. People would just stop in the street, talk to us, never asking question about our family. We were a family. Here, people just, sometimes stare at us.
Tell us a bit more about the climate you're seeing in France. There have been a number of homophobic attacks recently here in France. What have you come across here?
Well, two different things. Administration. People don't have a clue what is surrogacy. And sometimes they would just say no. They won't, try to look. I had a problem in a city here called Montreuil. But generally, it's people looking at you. Like, for example, we're in a gas station. We were feeding our girls. People were just looking at us like they were waiting for a woman to show. No woman came. So we saw in their eyes that were like, oh my God, they're fathers. They're both fathers. They had, So yes, that's the main thing. We in general, we don't have a problem. It's just people, just looking at us.
What would you say about some of the critics about surrogacy who say that it's a practice that commodifies a woman's body, that exploits it?
Well, that may be true in certain countries. We choose US especially because it's not the case. You can't be a surrogate if you're poor or if you don't have children.
To sort of eliminate this risk of doing it for financial gain.
Yeah, exactly. And sorry, what was your question?
Well, just the idea that some of these critics, it's not even something about it being a homosexual issue, but also just the idea that they're worried that it turns a woman's body into a commodity.
Well, we have to be frank. It was not easy for Lisa. Carrying twins is hard. It's not easy for her after we spent 40 days in the U.S. to see us, leaving the country, and it's true. It's difficult, but it is nothing to do with exploiting someone. She was happy to do it. We had a judgment in the U.S. in front of the judge. She said, okay, I did it for money, but main thing is I wanted to help a family to have children. So, and that's what it is. And they believe in God. So it's something that people probably don't understand in France. There's no connection with religion here. You're not exploiting the body of someone. She's giving us, life. And it's something that, is difficult to forget.
And as you mentioned, a very careful process in terms of working with these two women. Tell us about today. How are your daughters recognized in France?
Well, it's pretty recent. Last week, what we did is in the U.S., we had an adoption judgment, because we're both biological parents. So we did a cross-adoption of our daughters, and it was recognized only last week. So after 10 months of procedure. When you're back in France, you have two issues: the papers to get your passports. That was pretty easy. And then and after that, they recognize as French, but then the problem is to have them as we call that livret de famille here, to have that, it's I don't know the name in English, filiation, in fact. And that's something that was hard to get. And because of the new president, it seems things are changing softly, but now...
So real quickly, you think maybe in the future there could be change where this sort of thing could be...
Well, that's what we hope, but it's not going to come very soon, I think.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for your time, Philippe Thareaut-Vigny. David-Jean, merci pour ton témoignage aujourd'hui. That's it for Perspective. You can find this again on our website if you'd like, france24.com.